Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the All-Star panel here on Jack and Glen. We're talking about Married at First Sight. Talking about Married at First Sight this week. I'm joined with my main man, Tommy from August Love Story. What's going on, Tommy?
Man, I'm here, man. I'm in the building. I'm doing great.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong. Glad that you're in the building this afternoon, man. It's a lot to talk about. This episode of Married at First Sight had everything we wanted to look for, man. It had sex, it had lies, it had people wanted to move into houses and talk about intentions. It had everything, and we wanted this on this episode of this panel. We want to dive into all of it. We want to dive into the sex. We want to dive into the lies, and we want to dive
videotape
in videotape, right? We did have, and we had no video footage this time, but we want to dive into all of it. Hey, before you, so we want you guys to make sure you get in the comment section, please. We really want to discuss, want to have comments here because there's a lot to talk about in this episode. Especially the biggest question to the other night I want to talk to, and we'll wait till everybody else come in. I definitely want to talk about this trust issue, right? If you get told a secret by your spouse, do you tell the secret, right? Do you tell somebody else? Tommy, we got married. Me and you, we married here. I want to see men think alike, right? Want to see men think alike, women think alike on this episode. So, hey, once again, let's get started here. Let's talk about this couple, man. Very simple couple. I want to talk about Alexis and Justin, right? Alexis and Justin. To start off the bat, what was your thoughts on Justin and Alexis from this past episode of Married at First Sight?
I didn't write a lot of stuff about them, but I did write. It doesn't feel real though, in my opinion. Just her telling him I'm starting from the back and try to work myself backwards, but it doesn't feel real in her I love you too. You know, it's almost like she's following a handbook of this is what you're supposed to do to be a nice person, or to not even saying that she's a bad person, but just to, look out for his feelings, because that was the big thing that she was trying to do, was be conscious of how he feels and things like that. So when that happened, I was like, oh, I'm shocked. But then I was also like, nah, man, she don't mean that. And she may, I can't say that she doesn't mean it, but it doesn't seem like she meant that in the same manner that he meant it. And then it's also day 8, I think they're at. Like, love at first sight. I don't really believe in love at first sight. I believe in like lust and like a light at first sight, but I don't really believe in love at first sight, because I think love is something that you grow into more so than a feeling. You don't come out the back, because you can love your mom, but your love for your mom is different from your love for your spouse, and so that's why I think it's a growth thing, because it's love is the same thing, but it's two different things depending on who it is. So I felt that was like shaky. And then also how involved Justin is. Like, I get it. Justin's a very kind and when he say you're a friend type of guy, but how strong he felt, because I think he started crying, didn't he? When they were talking about Ben and Morgan, how strong he felt about her. I mean, not her, but them and Ben. It's like, yeah, man, you got to kind of back up a little bit, man. Just allow them to do their thing and be concerned with what's going on with yours. But to me, they didn't have a lot of issues. I just think they're moving, for me, extremely fast. And for me, it's like you have to slow down to get to know each other, because you get on this big old high of we're in love, we're here, we're married, woo woo woo, and then when y'all have your first argument, it crashes. It's not a subtle crash; it's a crash, and everything burns, and it's a big one. So, and I think we saw that with the dogs in the next season, in the next episode. Like, she was like, "I can't live with him." Like, y'all still get to know each other, so I don't know, man. It's just that doesn't seem real like the other ones do to me. Artika's fixing her a sandwich, so you guys, that's all I had about that. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You putting the business out.
I'm hungry. Okay.
But I really want, it's the love that you said, the fake love, because she got caught at the table, right? When she said, I love you. And the guy, everybody was like, what you say? To me, the hesitation to repeat it, to me, made it seem like it wasn't real, right? When she hesitated, because if you said you loved him, you'd be like, oh, I love my man. But it took the pushing and the unction of the castmates, I won't say castmates, the other couples, to make her say it out loud. Mm-hmm. And even when it was in the bathroom towards the end, with just them two, she didn't want to say it. And she really showed him how she really feel about him. She called him a punk, well, in lack of a better term, you be a punk, whatever you said. That to me, that was genuine, right? She meant that thing. I don't know if she was licking up a little bit, but her true feeling came out. She thinks her husband's a punk, right? And she said, I think she see, I love this punk, this Coco Melon face. Now, I didn't know what a Coco Melon was. And my wife had to tell me it was a cartoon. I had no clue whatsoever what a Coco Melon.
Never seen Coco Melon.
I ain't never seen Coco Melon. Don't know what Coco Melon was. So we was walking and talking about this episode. She's like, hey, this is what a Coco Melon is. I'm like, dang, yo, she called her, because I'm thinking she called dude Coco Melon. I'm like, man, like brown face, like what you doing? Like I'm thinking, yo, you don't disgrade a brother on TV. But again, it was a cartoon, so I had to understand what Coco Melon was. But again, everybody don't have that type of relationship, right? And so to me, it was a little truthful. She thinks her husband punk, and she already know he's soft. And and Justin's kind of defending himself. I think he said with the guys, I may be soft, but I'm able to defend my woman. I'm able to defend him. I'll ever be there. So he knows he's soft, but he has an aggressiveness in him, because here we come to when he saved the day over there with that boat that tipped over or flew out. He showed that he was strong and he was mighty, and then he tried to throw a jab.
Mighty.
You glad I'm tall now, right? I told my wife what made me laugh was the cameraman bailed, right? Cameraman didn't drop the camera. He ain't try to help them. Cameraman was like, deuces, I'm saving this camera and everything else. And he bailed out. But again, he saved her. He was able to be there. I do take her. I don't know if her love is genuine right now. I think he's chipping at the walls, or not chipping at the tree, or knocking it down. And I think they are moving they're moving a little bit too fast. I know she said, I think she talked about swiping left again. And 6 months ago, I wouldn't have messed with him, but now I start to like him. I was scared or something to that nature. So she's feeling something. But again, I think the honeymoon is false love, because everyone's there. You have no world, right? You don't have your job. You ain't got the phone calls. You ain't got the pressure of the world. I think all that, when you get back to real life, I think that's when you can really say you love somebody. You can love somebody when you're in paradise, because ain't nobody else, ain't nothing else there.
Yeah, I took it like when she said, I love this guy. I was like, I love you, man. I love you, man. It wasn't like, I love you. I have deep feelings. Like, I don't even think she in like with him right now. She ain't even in like. I think she was just talking. Like, I love this guy. Hey, I like him a whole lot. But
you do.
Look, don't do that today. We're not doing that today. But as far as him getting so entwined with Ben, I mean, it's obvious to me. Like, Justin is sensitive, but he's an empath. That's what I'm thinking. He's very empathetic. Like, he feels very deeply. And I know for a guy that can look real kind of silly sometimes, but I do think it was a whole lot. I think it was a whole lot, but I mean, I understand. Like, he literally put himself in Ben's shoes, and yeah, Alexis was like, oh, but she gave him some good advice though. She was like, look, you can't be that deep in it for him. It's his marriage, be selfish. She was like, be selfish. I know you're selfless, but I need you to be selfish and not get so entwined in their marriage that, you sitting at home and we trying to have a good time and you all like, I can't believe it happened to Ben, can't get that deep with it. So she told him the truth there. I think, and she said it kindly after she got out of the Coco Melon head having whatever she called him. It was a whole, I don't know if y'all saw it, the whole, when MAFS fan posted a video, it was a whole lot of comments in there just talking about how a lot of African-American couples, we tend to tease each other like that, and we do, but I don't think that wasn't like teasing, like she was really calling them.
She was drunk.
Probably.
She was soft stuff. If you look at, you can see do Alexis vignettes. There's some times that she soft up though.
Mm-hmm.
There's some times when she drink and she's feeling it a little bit. If you go back to the when they had the reception, she was feeling a little bit. She couldn't get her words right. So there's moments where she can't handle her liquor. And when she can't handle it, stuff come out and she be like, I'm playing, I'm just joking.
Mm-hmm.
You celibate self. You think you're gonna have sex with me tonight? And that's what she does. And that's what she does. So we'll see. Artika, welcome.
You
she got food in her mouth, man. Me and you. Man, I did want to say that is something, because me and Artika, we check with each other all the time, but it's out of love. But we've done that from day one. So that's something I didn't think about. But she, like, it's certain things you just like.
I wouldn't have said that on camera. Yeah.
I would have called them soft because, soft is soft, but I probably would have, I don't know, man, because I can get, we throw your mama jokes out because they're funny. Like, it's that's one of the funniest things.
We've got my mama to join in on it.
Right.
So
no, but I don't know.
I don't really know what to say about Alexis and Justin. I feel like, I know I walked in when you were talking about the love comment. It just felt like the thing to say, like, oh, he says he loves me. I can toss this out there. And for her, I really think that love is just, I think I really like you. Like, in spite of everything, like, you're a decent person. You're a swell guy. Like, that's what it felt like. She was just like, oh, I love you too. Because, like, you would say that to a person that is your friend that you've known for a few days, but maybe not to a male suitor that you've only known for a few days.
Yeah. That's the biggest issue. Is like the time length and everything. Like I've already said from last week, he should have held on to the I love you or explained the idea of you a little bit better than what he did. So she's not forced. And I don't even want to say forced because nobody, stuck a gun to her head and was like, hey, you need to say this. But she's not enticed to say it back, because we're all like, if somebody say I love you, we're always like, well, I love you too. I always want that response. Yes, you did, man.
I mean, maybe for you, but in general, no.
Oh yeah. But but it's like now you have to question, is it real or is it fake? I like that they're building whatever they're building to a point to where they can be comfortable with the jokes, because he didn't, like, nothing struck him in any type of way when she was calling him Coco Melon, and I don't know what else she said about him and stuff like that, but he was just like taking it, sitting up there crying in her, like, that's, I mean, have you seen me cry?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Not saying I'm all super tough and stuff. I cry.
Because you're not.
Right. I'm soft, but I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. They're like, it's weird to me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. One thing I also want to point out with them, when we were there at the table with all the group, Justin, it made me think of me and my wife, how people are talking and we whispering across the table, like, she lying. They ain't good. She tried to make it all about him. And she knocked me on my shit. And then I have a problem. She hit me like, yo, you talking too loud. Like, you talking too loud. They can hear you. Like, I can't whisper, man. I'm not a whispering person. So she hit me and be like, they're gonna hear you. And I'm like, so if they hear me, so what? What are they gonna do about it? But anyway, that's how I roll. But
he is definitely not the kick him under the table person, because he gonna be like, "What you kick me for?" I'm like, "Be quiet. I'm trying to get your attention." Not like that.
But I mean, I like that from them, because now you can see, but that helped them get on the same page. I think that's helped bring them closer when they started analyzing and being the voice of reason for everybody else's relationship, right? And I think that's what's keeping them closer, because they're building that friendship. And she's looking at him like a boy, like, hey, this is my dude. And I think that's where she's getting comfortable. I'm just going to wait when they get home. And my thing is, when you get back to San Diego and you get back, because remember, when she's a tomboy, so when she get back to San Diego, she want to hang around her boys. She might want to go play football. She might, because look at all the things that we saw her do. She had male friends, and she was hanging around, and she was hanging out. And Justin seemed like, he said in this past episode, he works from home. He doesn't mind doing everything at home. He wants to be the house husband, per se, right? He's doing what Elijah wanted Katina to do last episode. Remember how Elijah wanted last season? Elijah wanted Katina to work from home, take care of home, cook, clean, and have everything taken care of when he comes home. Justin basically said by the time Alexis come home, he would have cooked, he would have cleaned, he would have walked the dogs and taken care of everything else. He's the house husband. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking that there's wrong with that, but you can just see how they roles are kind of reversed in that aspect. And she even pulled the card a little bit. Well, I make more money than you do. Let's talk about this money situation again. She like, I make some money, because what did he say? He said, "Oh, we can put our money together." Well, we always get to that issue on Married at First Sight when people talk about money together and budgeting, and so they may have an issue, because that's the first thing when he said, let's put our money together. Her face was like, let's budget. Let's see how this thing gonna work out. So I think she's the more dominant one here, and he already shows that he's gonna take a back seat in this relationship. Well, he's appearing that he's gonna take a back seat in this relationship with her, because she's just whatever she says right now is like, yes, dear. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. You really haven't seen him buck against anything, and I want to see how he bucks and how it handles if he bucks to her. What does she respond to?
I don't think he handles that well. I don't think that goes well, or he's gonna back down really quickly, because it's an attitude thing, and it's am I gonna fight this? And I think his solution to everything is to whatever you say, dear. Whatever you say, dear. That's like that's a cartoon that was it. The dude was just whatever you say, dear. Whatever you say, dear.
I have a family member that's like that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's definitely, his wife is my family member, but she is the dominant person in the relationship, and he is a whatever you say.
Yeah. Like a yes man. Yes. He's like, that's where their conflict solution is gonna be. It's just him agreeing with whatever she say. You brought up a great point. She did say she makes more money than him. And this is gonna show how mature they are as far as like being able to combat that, because it was like at one point in time in our relationship, Artika made way more money than I did, and it's like we were able to work through what we needed to, because it wasn't a big deal to me at all. It was like, hey, well, you make more, you have this bill versus me having what I'm saying? So we switched what we needed to switch, and we budgeted the way we needed to budget. But this is a thing of ego at this point. Like, that's what I always think about, is when the woman makes more than the man, it's an ego thing, because the man's supposed to be the one that, like, statistically men make more money than women, which I don't understand if we're doing the same job. Anyway, that's a different subject. But like, that's an ego thing when it comes to men, and that's really gonna test his maturity and her maturity too, because it could be a thing of, oh, I make more money than you, and then so I'm the superior person in this relationship, or I make more money than you, and I want to keep my money. You
just got to have the rationale of whoever makes money gets these bills paid.
Right.
Both of us, like, let's pay these bills.
Right, we have to survive first, and then let's, it's just a joining of the money, and that financial conversation will be more important because of that statement.
I am interested in their financial conversation though, because he said something along the lines of, as long as the money all goes into one account.
Yeah.
And she was like,
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see, like,
Right.
when the money episode comes up, how
they
handle that.
Yeah. So
Right. Even when she said that, he backtracked and said, "Oh, we can do another account too." Even that quick, he backtracked. She said
He did.
He did. He said, she's like, "Oh, we can put the money in one account." He's like, "Nah, we can have another account." So he already saw the backtracking when she bucked a little bit. He was like, "Oh, we can have a separate account." You're like, dude, hey, bro. I mean, I love the fact that she didn't really argue or complain, but she's like, "Oh, when we get back home,
We'll figure it out."
We'll figure it out. And I think that was mature on her part, by saying, "You know what? I don't want to mess this honeymoon up. We're having such a good time. Let not this be the issue. But when we get back home, we'll discuss it."
Yeah.
So let's move on just a little bit. Oh man, hold on. Let's talk about Mitch, the drunk lover himself.
No, Lord.
I need some liquid courage, and I need to, once I get my liquid courage, I'm gonna go ahead and pounce on you. I'm gonna go pounce on you. And I mean, Kristen at this time, Kristen at this time, she was right. She's like, I felt like it, right? Kristen at the time was like, I felt like it, but there's no way in the world I'm not gonna give him the satisfaction of getting drunk, and then we have drunk love, and it means nothing. Made me think about Jake and what's the girl's name? Haley, Jake and Haley from Atlanta season, when Jake, they was drunk and she gave Jake some drunk love, gave Jake some drunk love, or Jake gave her drunk love, and their relationship was terrible right after that. The loving wasn't good. It made me think about that. So Mitch, they didn't really see much of Mitch this episode, or talking much or whatever, but that was the biggest thing, and she don't know which way Mitch goes. How do we flow? Do we love me? Don't he love me? Do we care about me? Don't he care about me? Is he breaking down the walls? He said he started seeing her in a different light. You know, it is what it is. Your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't like Mitch. I don't like him. I just don't. Yeah. I mean, we went from I'm not attracted to her to pouncing on her because he got that liquid courage in him, and now we cuddling all night. And I'm like, what happened? I'm trying to understand what happened. And I'm glad she stuck up for herself too, because it would have been easy to fall in and have sex with him because they got all hot and bothered. But she was like, nope, I'm not gonna let it be no drunk loving. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna let you use me like that. I'm not, nah, you're not gonna get it from me like that. Because you just told me you weren't attracted to me. So I know this is not real. So, and she knows that she would get wrapped up in it, you know? And so she's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And we ain't gonna just be having sex, saying Miguel and Lindy, because Miguel said he's good with mediocre sex till the feelings come in. Kristen was like, I'm not doing that. She's like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do it like that. I don't want to have sex just to have sex. And so kudos to her for doing it. But yeah, they're gonna be a lot. They're gonna be a lot. I'm hoping he's turned the corner and he's starting to be attracted to her, but I doubt it. I doubt it.
Hey, are you guys team Mitch?
Oh, that was funny too. She was like, I want to share with y'all, but I'm not sharing with y'all to demonize him, just to tell you what it is. Because she know if I unload all this on you about what him, next time you see me, be like, how you doing, Mitch? She was like, don't do him like that. So I think that was big of her too. Because I'd be like, give it all to him, sis.
I'm not that mature, because I would have been like, look at him sitting over there looking how he looking. But no, I think she definitely had to preface everything, because for one, Alexis wasn't gonna let him live that down. I don't know about anybody else, but I know she would have definitely been at the table when they were having conversations. She would have thrown that completely out there if they had not had that okay, I want everybody to be Team Mitch conversation. But Mitch did a very good job of being quiet and staying out of the way this episode, especially at the table, because everybody else's blow ups and issues were a little bit more amplified, like going through the Ben and Morgan situation, and who else was it they were getting on to? Oh, Miguel and Lindy. So being able to go through those, Mitch navigated it well. He was just like, I'm gonna sit over here and I'm gonna be quiet and I'm gonna eat my food.
I'm gonna look surprised.
And wow, you guys really said that? Like nothing happened. I still want to know what about Kristen Mitch wasn't attracted to, because Kristen isn't ugly. And so, and I mean, still ugly is relative, but Kristen is not an unattractive person at all. So, since she's not an unattractive person, what is it that you're looking for in her facial features that you don't get? Because I think somebody mentioned this on one of our other Sunday lives about Brett and Ryan, and his thing was like, I don't like her red hair. So, like, what is it specifically about her that you don't like that's making you this way? And how did tequila or whatever you was drinking erase that? Because tequila's never erased the way anybody looks for me.
Yeah, tequila made me stop drinking tequila. Yeah, Mitch disappeared this episode, and it was a much needed break, because he put his foot in his mouth when he said he wasn't attracted to her, but then couldn't explain why he wasn't attracted to her, and then tried to get some from her. Like, if he would have held his tongue, he would have got the draws.
He definitely would have.
Easily, and they could have been moving forward. But I think he's starting to in doing that, he's starting to realize, oh, okay, this is where I messed up, and this is where I need to start trying to focus a little bit more, just to understand where my liking and where my dislikes are with her, because I don't think he understands it. Also with her, I was happy to see, hey, don't crucify my husband just yet. Like, I'm working through this, and let's be on his side. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt that it's just something he has to work through. But yeah, man, it's the thing about it is, and understanding from a man's perspective, this is a male's view of what happened in this situation. Like, it doesn't take much for a man to be like, yeah, I want to get in your pants, and that's what it was. Like, we can't sit up. I'm not gonna sit up here and say, oh, Mitch has to be attracted to her to want to do anything with her, because I know that's not true. But it's just distasteful for him to do that to his wife. Like, we're looking at it from the standpoint of, this is your wife. This is a person that you're making a commitment to. Like, if you're gonna make that commitment of saying you're not attracted to her, make the full commitment. Be like, yo, I want to do this, but I'm still working on some things here. So that's where the confusion for her. I feel bad for Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was finna call her Kirsten, because Glen got the Kirsten. It's like, man, God. So for Chris, I feel bad for her, because she has to preface everything. She has to kind of walk on eggshells and kind of like, is this something he likes, and kind of guess at what's going on, and can't truly be herself just yet. And this is the honeymoon. She's not enjoying the honeymoon like everybody else is. Like, she's getting closer to her husband in a different manner, much slower than everybody else is. And so that's why I feel bad for her when it comes to them. But the funny part about their whole episode was when she was like, I'm in charge. All I saw was hustle and flow. I'm in charge. But I mean, that makes sense though for her to be like, "Hey, this is gonna go the way that I want it to go because of how I want it to go," and you just have to fall in line. And I think it's not a healthy way, but I think that's the best way for them to overcome Mitching this up. So,
I got nothing
all right.
else.
No, I think that part was key too. I think Tommy, you hit it when she said she was in charge, which means she took power back in this relationship. And she gonna make Mitch kind of follow her rules, follow her guideline if she can move things along. And we saw even when they was swimming, she didn't go paddle boating or surfing with him. She was just there, and so she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do what I need to do, and we're gonna be happy." But what he's not gonna do is dictate how I feel and how I control things. And so she wants to be able to be controlling. I'm not controlling, but she wants to be able to have the say so, have power to say yes or no, and move at her pace, not necessarily his. And I think that's key for her. I think that's what she needs to do. Because again, man, you got this is, and I always look at their past and what they show us.
I was about to say.
This is a woman who been left at the altar, who had to go on her last honeymoon by herself. She spent all her savings, right? She spent her life savings, her savings to be in a marriage. She was engaged to a bum that she found on her friend's couch,
her neighbor's
couch. So she has been through a lot. Her relationship with her dad, I don't know if it's shaky or not, but she told her father in the last minute that she's getting married for whatever reason it was. And so she's been through a lot, and she want to make sure this thing works out. I'm
not getting run over again. I'm not getting pressured. I'm not getting tricked. I'm not getting shamed. I'm not doing it. And so she did. She took the power and she was like, look, I'm going to say how this going to go because you're not going to get one over on me. I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing it again.
She said she's a boss chick. So we'll see if she can stay true to that and be the boss that she says she is. We'll see. Let's move on to Slick Willie. Slick Willie himself. My man, Miguel, he broke the wall.
Miggy.
He broke the walls down. I'm gonna start with you guys. August love story. Your thoughts on Miguel?
They had sex. Miguel was saved by the mariachi band. They were getting feisty at dinner. I don't like Miguel's approach to this whole thing. I just think he puts way too much emphasis on having sex with her to make his determination of if he wants to stay with the person or not. I really don't like that because it's like you're not truly getting to know the person. You're just getting the satisfaction of, that feeling,
Your rocks off, as you like to say.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be PG right now.
It is PG. Nobody knows what that is.
He's just trying to get his rocks off. But it's for her, it gotta be confusing. Because she want to make the decisions on her own, right? She wants to say, when I'm ready, I want to do this, but then he has stipulations to his love of, basically, like, I'm not gonna want to do this if we don't have sex. Well, what if she didn't feel comfortable with you throughout this whole time and didn't want to have sex with you? Let's be honest, man. Some girls just don't want to have sex until they truly feel comfortable, and that's okay. At least it should be okay, because there are some girls that, and this is terrible advice I tell my like little cousin, be like, man, you're outnumbered when it comes to girls. So if one don't like you or one don't want to, hang out with you and do what you trying to do, man, it's another one coming, man. But in Miguel's situation, it's like you just have to wait. You chose to be married at first sight, so you have to ride along with the decisions that she wants to do as well. So it's like it's hard to understand where Miguel is coming from and also understand where Lindy right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Lindy is coming from, just because it's like you say you don't want to, but then y'all have sex. And now you're like, I don't understand, because at some point she was like, I don't understand his his rationale or not understanding what he's saying. And then when they're at dinner, oh, I understand totally what you're going through. Like, that's confusing. And it's we obviously can see, or in my opinion, she's made every decision about their marriage based off of him and what he wants. So she's being submissive to him and giving him all his needs and not thinking about the things that she wants and her demands, quote unquote. So it's like, that's, for me, that's a recipe for disaster, because one person loses. And it's not a compromise on both people. It's, I have to give on this one thing that I was trying to hold close to get to know you better, because I don't, like, I'm gonna only speak for myself on this one. It's been plenty of times I talked to a girl and I got that one thing I wanted and never called her back. Like, I've explained to a girl before that, hey, this is probably gonna happen because that's all I wanted. And she said, I gotta be a
You're
big girl
awful.
about it. I'm terrible
Mm-hmm.
until I met you.
Oh, okay.
But it's the truth though, and that's basically, I didn't even see this, like, when they were explaining who Miguel was and how he was as a person and stuff. I didn't see this person, at all. I didn't see a person whose decisions and whose love is dependent upon if he likes the sex with you or not. So and he was in the hot seat. I like the fact that they put him in the hot seat, because he has to answer for a lot of those things, because Lindy is not going to force him to answer for anything. She's just going to go along with what he says. Like, if they if he leads her into a dark room and run into a wall, she's not going to say, why did you do that? So,
Um, going back to the hot seat situation, that's what I was hoping for with previous Married at First Sight seasons. Specifically last season with the Elijah and the day nap thing, was like, we're here, we're talking about everything, like, let's get real about it.
mhm.
I was happy that, I believe it was, I think I actually put it in my notes, Stacia talked to Lindy separately and was like, hey, I see this happening. Are you sure this is what you want to happen? Because you said no, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's completely okay. And that was like, yesterday it was no, last
Right.
night it was completely okay. Which one is it? Are you sure you're not being coerced into anything? So I was appreciative that Stasha stepped up to have
Mhm.
that conversation. And on top of Stasha stepping up to have that conversation, like, the group round table
Mhm.
was able to also, like, point out the flaws in the logic
Yeah.
surrounding the two of them having sex. I do worry about her changing her stance on things, because she's just like, I want to be married and this is who I am married to, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make it work, and essentially end up losing herself
Mhm.
in that marriage because of that reason.
Mhm.
And also back to what you were saying about us not thinking that that was the guy that he was when we were introduced to him. I think that there has always been a lot of vagueness around him, because, like, even when he was talking about how his relationships ended at 3 months, he was like, he always ended them, but he couldn't really explain why.
Mhm.
Like, he has set himself up to be surface level across the board with people, and um he doesn't have to essentially say, hey, this is the reason, like, like, this was what happened, she went with it,
Mhm.
it's okay. And so she's just gonna have to be a little bit more cautious in her decision making when it comes to him, because I think that the things that she thinks are going to happen one way, he will be able to deter her from them
Mhm.
if that's not how he imagined things going.
It's almost scary-ish. Like kind of like Ike and Tina ish without the physical beating.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's like he's playing a mind game with her, controlling her decision making, and it looks bad.
Yeah.
Completely. So I don't know, man. Miguel is it's hard to say how a person can feel about Miguel because of the vagueness behind him. But the one thing we know for sure Miguel wanted was sex. Throughout this whole thing, we knew he wanted sex, and it's like, okay, now you had it, now what? Type of deal. So
I'm with you, Artika, man. I loved it when Stacia was like in the space, like, hey, that's Lindy, that's not what you told us. You said you didn't want to, but now you're saying you're good with it. And I like that she said it to the side too, and was like, I've been in that place where I've been pressured, where I felt like I had to have sex with somebody. So did you make it, was this really your decision, or did you just give in to the peer pressure?
Real quick, before you finish your point, you can tell it with her decision. It was just a couple of days. So what did he do in matter a day or two to break your walls down to want you to have sex with him? Because remember, he's the same guy that was at the pool saying, I tried, and she said no.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do this, and she keep knocking me out. Or I keep taking care of myself. Basically, he said he handling his own business. I'm sexually satisfied. I'm good. So what was said or what was done? It wasn't a massage that make her change your mind that quickly.
He just wore her down. That's what happened. He just wore her down.
Like a kid keep asking, can I get some candy?
He wore.
Can I get some candy?
That's what he
Can
did.
I get some candy? Can I get some candy?
He wore
Can I get
her
some candy?
down.
Can I?
and here we go. The other part that I was like, here go Miguel with his sacrilegious comments. He was like, it was passionate. It was more passionate than I thought it would be. He told the guys, oh, we made love. It was passionate. It was perfect. I felt like I was one with the universe. It was holy. I was like, oh my gosh, here he go. Here he go. Throwing the religious comments. Like, it's like, you being sarcastic, you trying to be funny. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. That irritated me so bad. But to go with what you said before about, Justin and Alexis talking at the table, Miguel and Lindy, she's come. It's okay. When the mariachi band came in and Stacia was about to go in on him, she was about to go in, and she was like, it's okay. We decide how it. Just don't worry about it. It's about us. No, we're going to focus on us. It's our journey. It's about us understanding each other. We're not like the other couples. And I was just like, I wish Stacia had really just got him. I really did. I really appreciated that in this episode, how we saw all the girls having Kristen and Lindy's back. I appreciated that.
I mean, I thought that was good. They had each other's back. I mean, we all know from a guilt. I think when you talk about sex all the time and you that guy, and I mean, it's your wife. I understand. It really questions, what are you on the show for?
Mm-hmm.
Are you on here because you knew you could get some free sex, or are you on here to find a wife, right? Or are you on here to be able to be really in tune and connect with somebody? And I'll go back to this. It is a big age gap, right? It's a big age gap between those two.
Right.
And he is using his age and his experience to manipulate this young, naive, inexperienced girl. She's been sheltered. And she's been sheltered, and she hasn't experienced life. So he's experienced a lot of things. And so now he's using that to manipulate her, to get her to do what he wants. And now it's kind of like, okay, I want to be married, and I know what this marriage thing is like. This is her first marriage, and I'm committed, and I don't want to be divorced, and I want to love my husband. I want to submit to my husband, and I want to do all this. And so I'm gonna have to go ahead and give into him. And it's different, and there's different type of submitting, and that's a whole different conversation. We both married couples on here. So when you talk about submitting, it's submitting one to each other, being committed to each other. It's not just doing whatever your spouse says, right?
Mhm.
It's like, hey, let's meet each other's needs, meet each other in the middle. It talks about submitting one to another. So it is a different type of submitting and commitment when you married. And again, if she wasn't ready to have sex with him, she shouldn't have sex with him. And I think he's just trying to manipulate that. And we saw his attitude change.
Right, right. While you said that though, I thought about this because when the guys were talking and Miguel told them about him and Lindy having sex, Nate was like, for him and Stacia, they've been vibing. And he was like, I feel like sex complicates things. And Miguel was like, but does it? And I was like, what? Yes. For some people, it absolutely does, because if you jump into sex too quickly, you don't get to know each other and your relationship is just built on sex. So what happens when you can't have sex? What happens that one time when it's not good? What happens that's why guys be like, they, like you said, Tommy, get the draws and then be like, I don't want to talk to her no more. That's all I wanted. So, I thought it was for him to be as old as he is. I'm like, come on, dude. Sex can complicate it and people act funky. God knows I've known too many guys have sex with a girl, don't talk to him no more. She get pregnant. You act like you don't know the girl. Like, dang. Everything just disappeared now, huh? Oh, okay. You don't even like her no more? Wow.
But he did that too because he could say, you know what? This is just an experiment for me. I'm not sure about the 8 weeks. So he kind of started to ghost her after he had sex. He couldn't even commit to the 8-week process. He was like, well, I'm gonna have to wait 8 weeks to see if I can, if this is gonna be, a good relationship or not. But you got the draws first, and now you gotta wait and see. Now you got to wait and see. So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out for Miguel, but it doesn't look good for. They'll probably say yes. She'll probably say yes just to go with the flow. Unless he put hands on her, I don't see her getting divorced. I just don't. I mean, I know it's early, but I just see her doing whatever. Like, well, do whatever you like.
Yeah.
Whatever you like, sir. any other thoughts?
You got it. I was gonna say, man, it's like it takes away his pressure or the conversation, the big conversation around sex takes away from the beauty of them really learning each other. Really, because we haven't seen. Did they do any activities together?
They were just in the hot tub with that massage. That's the only thing.
That's the only thing that we've seen them actually go and do. Like, we know Alexis and Justin went horse riding, I think.
And they did some water sport because the boat flew back
over
them.
I think they were just watching that. But we unseen like Nate and Stacia went ATVing. Morgan and Ben hadn't done anything, but they got there late. Who is it? Kristen and Mitch, they went surfing, or he went surfing and she went out there. Like, I'm pretty sure they went paddleboarding.
Yeah.
They went paddle surfing, but we haven't seen them actually go experience anything together outside of this hot tub and him offering her a massage. And it's like he's so focused on sex that you're not learning who this girl is. Like, they went to eat and they had that conversation, but it's like, is that enough? Is it like the experiences? Because we went to Jamaica, we did Dunn's River Fall, and that's something we remember. That's the experience we remember doing together and stuff like that. So it's like, why haven't you tried to do those things? If she says no, you're gonna get some. Like, that's almost but guaranteed. If that's the case, why spend your whole honeymoon trying to do that? Because now you're about to go home at this point. So it's like what can you do in these few days? So I think he's just taken away from the actual building foundation to their relationship. So,
and it's so much easier to be romantic in paradise, like Mexico on a resort.
Man,
it's the equivalent of paradise.
Right,
so
right.
It's like, go be romantic, like, there, and not turn everything into a let's try to have sex
Yeah.
later on today.
Little hornball.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, let's. Yeah, look. I hope all you guys are right. Hope she can get it together. We'll see. But let's go here. Stacia and Nate. Start with you guys. Does Nate have good intentions with Stacia? Is it
Nope. I haven't trusted Nate since we first saw him and he was peddling fake clothes or whatever he was selling. Nate has given me the impression that he's here for a good time, not a long time. And Stasia's just kind of got to be there along with the ride. Like, he likes her enough, but I think that, I don't know, it's just something about his intentions just don't feel pure. Like, I'm here to be married and I am here to want to be married to Stacia. I don't know. It's something about this boy I just don't like. I can't put my finger on it.
I think Nate is being genuine the best way he can. Because it's as everybody always say, like, whoever talks about the process, like, it's a process that they go through. So for somebody that didn't want to be there, definitely wouldn't be. I don't think wouldn't be there, like, at this point. But well, maybe
He
they
trying to be an
would.
influencer.
Yeah, maybe they would. Never mind. I retract that statement. Uh, never mind. But no, I think Nate is genuine because of how pretty Stacia is. Now, I think Stacia brings up valid points, but also brings them up at the wrong time. Like when she brought up the posting up thing and then the kids thing. Like, yeah, kids, okay. The post up thing, you could have held that and y'all had that conversation a little bit deeper into the relationship because at this point, there's nothing you can do right now. So, but
What
I
do you
think
mean? You can sign a post up
no,
right
no,
now.
I'm saying like when she asked about the post, I know that's on the last episode, but when she asked about the posting up, they could not sign it right then and there.
I guess it's because you got to introduce the idea.
Right, and I don't feel like that was the right time to introduce. Anyway, that's something else. But I think Nate is here for the right reason. I think he still has to get out of the idea that he's not single anymore. And that's gonna take some time. That's gonna take some adjusting because it's not like it's a switch. Like we have to realize they haven't been back home yet. So that's gonna be another way for him to see, okay, now this is how I need to treat her and move forward and move around with her. What else happened? Oh, he's afraid of bugs. Both of them are afraid of bugs. The big thing for me, or the thing that I paid attention to the most between them, is when she brought up therapy. That was the other thing. Like I felt like bringing up the idea because we talked about this in our review
that y'all will never see.
Yeah, maybe.
No, they're not gonna see that
They're not
review.
I can see. Oh, okay. But so the therapy conversation, I felt like was way too soon. Um, Individually, yeah, you go to therapy, but I don't think right now they should go to couples therapy because they're still trying to get to know each other. Tika obviously disagrees with me, but that's okay. I
There's
still
no
love her.
obvious.
It
I
is.
didn't say anything.
I mean, you completely disagree with me, and I was like, okay, I respect that.
They don't know that.
I'm telling them now. But I just felt like that was like I understand her reasoning why, and I'm pretty sure like eventually, yeah, y'all go to couples therapy, but get to know each other, be in a relationship with each other, discover who each other, who the other person is before you just jump in and have somebody else to mediate y'all interactions with each other because I feel like they aren't genuine at that point. You know, like, yeah, if the conversation was, I go to therapy, won't you go to therapy as well? Not with me right now, but maybe later in our relationship we can go and get couples therapy or something like that. Um, what else? That's pretty much it with them. I like them as a couple, but it's a lot of growing that both of them have to do in order to make this thing work. And more so, I think, on Nate's side, because of how the bachelor lifestyle he's lived so far. Like, you can't just cut that off when it's been like that, you know? So, anything?
I still say Nate got to get himself together.
Yeah, I agree. Stasha too.
Oh, me. Tommy touched on what I was going to touch on too with the couples therapy thing. I see a lot of Nate getting along to get along. When she was like, you know, would you be open to couples therapy? And he was like off the bat, or when there's an imbalance, she was like, you know, I think it's healthy to go even when there's no issue. And he was like, oh yeah, sure. Like, okay, you know, he just agreed. I'm not sure. I think he definitely likes her because she's pretty and she's got a good head on her shoulders, but he's still real surface. I think it was ironic and funny that Lindy would say that she and Miguel wonder if Nate had the right intentions, but you don't wonder if Miguel has the right intentions. Like, really? Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? You sitting there talking about them, and at least Stacia could say, I did think about that. I wondered that myself. You know, she's more with it than Lindy. You know, when they brought it up to Lindy, she's like, you know, but you talking about Nate and not talking about Miguel. But she did have a point. Nate kind of wasn't in the moment with his spouse when it came to the ATVing. And apparently he's doing this for other things too, because they're noticing. She was like, it's times where I can't even find my phone. Every time we look, Nate's got his phone up. Hey, we're on the boat. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, and not even like, here we are. See us, you know. So I don't know. And then I think it was a little. Why are they talking about him moving in her house? Are they going to do something different in San Diego? Like, I'm trying to understand. Are they not going to give them a place to live? Because I'm not even talking about that before 8 weeks at all.
But see, I'm
not doing that.
You got to realize all this is based off of Stacia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stacia is in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
Stacia is like, yo, this is my forever marriage. I'm not changing you. We're not leaving. Because the way she's handling, even go back to last week, I'm not changing my last name. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do when you totally committed. Even though I still want to know how did she change her last name real quick? Didn't they just leave to go for the honeymoon? That's a whole different dynamic, right? How did she get to change her name? But if you look at even here, let's go to couple therapy. I have no issue with them going to therapy together because there's a lot of couples we say in the past they should have went to therapy because the experts ain't doing it, and so she's not leaving it up to the experts to make sure her and Nate are good. So guess what? Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper, they can do okay. But guess what? We need to do our own therapy because when they long gone, we need to get some things straight. We know Nate had mama issues, right? She got daddy issues. So they both have issues. Now, I agree with Tom. They can go separately, but I do think they need to go together in this 8-week process. It may help them. It may help them say yes or may help them say no. But it's added to what they already have.
Can I say this real quick too? And maybe not even so much couples therapy, but more like couples training, teaching type. Like, can we go somewhere where we can get some tools so we can know how to relate to each other and how to be married? So I kind of got that she was saying that too. Yeah, we need therapy, like y'all saying, separately to work out our mama issues, daddy issues, and we don't have an issue right now. But let's learn some skills. Let's get some skills. That's what we need. We need some skills training because we got to learn how to be married and how do we meld these two different people together, two different backgrounds. So I like that better than maybe couples therapy. If she said it like that, let's go where we can get some. Pastor Cal got his book Marriage Ain't for Punks, so let's see if he can give us some coping strategies.
I'm gonna stop promoting that book until he starts promoting the podcast.
That's hilarious.
That book, man.
That was actually, Glenn, exactly what I was saying to Tommy, was that I thought that they did need to do some type of counseling. And I guess we're looking at it like therapy, like there's an issue, but I look at it like, hey, we got something and we're trying to make sure that this something lasts. So let's work on it. Like, not that there's an issue, but let's just see how we can get the tools to work towards this together, because you're going to run into something that you don't like about your spouse. Let's figure out how we can work through those things. And I think that that's just counseling, or therapy is the easiest verbiage to use when explaining it, because like you guys said, the experts have done a disservice several seasons in a row by not being there and being present and giving the counseling and therapy that these people need. And so she's just like, hey, let's be proactive about it and let's bring in a third party, like another person.
Glenn, I just appreciate you saying you agree with me, because
even though he agreed with me.
Yeah, I don't care. He said I agree with Tommy. I appreciate that. But
you feel hurt?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I actually do. But what I was gonna say was, Stacia just brings up things at the wrong time. That's all. That's it. That's how I feel. It's just like her delivery for whatever. It's 100% right? But it's not where the period goes. That's how I feel. It's like the period doesn't go right there. So I like them as a couple.
Yeah.
But see, I think that comes from who she is. Remember, she's a straight shooter, right? She's the same one that left her parents and emancipated herself, right? Emancipated. I said emancipated. Are you trying to correct me in front of people? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. It's a whole. We'll tell y'all after we go back here why I said that, right? I can't say it on air because people watch, but I'll tell you why I said that after this. So that's who she is, and that's where she moved, and that's how she maneuvers, right? And she maneuvered in that realm, so she's straightforward. Remember, she's a businesswoman, so she like things going quickly, right? So she sees something, she wants to address it, and she wants to move on. And I think that's the same with her marriage. And I think she's 100% committed to this, and that's why she's doing all this, because she's 100% in. And if I'm going to be in, I'm going to be in. I do think Nate wants to be an influencer. I kind of follow him on YouTube a little bit. And he's still posting videos. He's the only guy I've seen, right, in all of Married at First Sight, who, while they're married, while the show's on, he's still posting YouTube videos. He literally posting YouTube videos. I'm not going to give a spoiler alert, but I looked at his hands. So it's just a spoiler. I'm not going to give nobody a spoiler here. I ain't going to say it, right? But I just looked at his hands. But nonetheless, but he's still doing YouTube videos. So I think a lot of that is what he wants to become and how he wants to be influenced. He wants to be an influencer. Mm-hmm. That's his entrepreneur. And I'm not knocking that. We are here on YouTube as well, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not knocking that, but it has to be a balance. Mm-hmm. And I think he doesn't know to balance it because he's so used to being Nate by himself, right? Not having to answer to anybody, talk to anybody, and he's still adjusting to being married. And I think and moving into the house situation, I can't knock that neither. Because I moved in with her.
But we knew each other for some time. You know what I mean? And we ain't on Married at First Sight. It's too soon. It's too soon.
But again, he has 8 weeks. They have to. 8 weeks. If we stay together, we got to move somewhere. So he figured in 8 weeks we stay together. We're gonna have to go. We can't stay in an apartment and Married at First Sight's gonna put up for us. So we had it again. It shows you that they're getting to know each other. And they had to already have a conversation. She's building a house, and she already told him, "Oh, you can live in my house now." Whether that's control, her being a boss, or Nate's a smart man, say, "You know what? She's building a house. We good. Let me go with her because I ain't got the money right now. Remember, we got bad credit. He bankrupt. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to joke on him, But I'm being honest.
No, he said he got that straight. He said he got out. He's at the point where he got that all straight. That's what he said.
But look, he said it was a couple years ago. Bankruptcy takes at least 7 years. Fact. That's facts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still on his credit reported record. He can't go get a mortgage right now. So he's
That's true.
I'm gonna go live with her. So he's like, okay, I'm good. He might be married to her for the next 5 years, so his credit get right. we see. Let's get you. You guys have anything else on Megan's?
They're such a pretty couple.
Are they?
Both of them are two pretty people, man. I don't know, man. I like them, but it's like you're seeing. I'm not sure about the foundation that they're building. You know, like that's kind of rocky. Like they're getting to understand each other, and at the end of the episode, we saw Nate was saying like he's falling in love with her, and I think we're gonna see a lot of that early, throughout all the couples, and that's just for her. She just loved that, you know. So it's their foundation doesn't seem like they're really building it for real or correctly or whatnot. But I'm interested to see how these things go, because you're looking at these two people and you're like, why can't you find that person? Especially for Stacia, it's like, what's going on that you can't find the right person?
She said she wasn't actively attempting to date.
I don't think. Yeah, I guess so.
So if you're not actively dating, it's a little bit difficult to date and find somebody. I don't know what his thing was.
Man, he was sunsetting with his friend.
With Megan. I think Megan might have been the issue. I wonder how Megan feels about him doing Married at First Sight.
She obviously was crying at the first part. Anyway, that's all I got.
Wait, Tommy I was going to say that too, though, because they're a good looking couple. They're a beautiful couple. When she sat and talked to him and she said, am I somebody you can fall in love with? And he was like, he said it sucked that she was questioning him. And the one thing he said was, he was like, look at us. He was like, look at us. We look good together. Like, we matched up good. Like, how could this not? Come on, don't do that to me. And but he said it like, we got the look. We match. Mm-hmm. I was trying to be that power couple. I think you said, I don't know if you said it on the panel, but like what power is he bringing to the table with the power couple? But they look good together. I mean, I would like for them to work it out. I'm not getting any substance from him right now. Yeah. I'm not getting any substance from him.
I mean, he said something that I thought was key. He told her, hopefully we don't do stuff like this all the time. The picnic, everything extravagant. He wants some simple things in life. So I took that as being, he used to simple things. And he doesn't want to, he kind of
he said he liked doing stuff like that. And he's hoping that they can keep that kind of excitement up. He said he liked doing the TP picnic, except for the bugs. Oh. And he said, what it's going to be like when we fall back into our normal life. I hope we don't revert to independent and solo Nate and boss lady Stacia.
She about that bag, dog. She about that bag. And I think when they get back to San Diego, she's gonna be about that bag and she's gonna be working. And that might be an issue because she like that money. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, here it go.
Here we go. All right, time to let you guys start. Whew. Ben and Morgan. Ben.
Me and my husband different on this. I'm gonna preface.
Tommy, we had some issues when it came to this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you guys know. We had some issues when it came to this. I'm gonna let y'all know. Y'all didn't see it in our video, but before the video started, we had some issues. I didn't want to go there when we recorded the video because we recorded late at night, but we can go there this afternoon.
So I will start by saying, I think that Ben overreacted a bit with this BSN situation. One of the conversations that I had with Tommy, and I don't even think we talked about it. Well, let's not even get into the review part of it. But essentially, I'm like, there's so many different like paths to becoming a nurse. You can do LPN, you can get an associate's, you can do a bachelor's program. Like, she says she's a nurse. Unless you can prove that she's not a nurse, look up in the registry. She's a nurse. I think that Ben should have had the conversation with Morgan about where he lacked clarity and where things like went awry for him mentally as far as that was concerned, with her program. And I know that he was just like, she lied. I'm like, but did she lie? Technically, if she technically is a nurse, like, she might have said she's getting her bachelor's and she has one more class. So that just was confusing to me, because it's like, just have the additional conversation, get the clarity that you need, and then get ready to call her a liar if she's actually lying. But the conversation with the student loans, I know that we had we had to deal with that with Lindy and Miguel's sister, and now we're dealing with it with Ben and Morgan. And Tommy and I actually had a conversation with my cousin about this just last night. The student loan situation is a little tricky for me, because I don't think that any of these women have come into these relationships saying, "Hey, I need you to pay my student loans for me because we're married." Um, I think that we expect people to come into relationships with some type of debt. And I expect in general for millennials to have student loan debt. Um, just part of the age demographic of, if you've gone to college, there's some type of debt. Now, if it's a substantial amount of debt or not is relative to the person and the profession of what they can actually be able to pay off. Um, but I do think that he jumped the gun with that as well. And I wish that he wouldn't have these conversations with Justin, but actually try to have the conversations with his wife. As far as the dinner table conversation, I was happy that people spoke up for Ben in the aspect that she was like, I take care of people all day at work. I don't want to come home and take care of you. And I'm like, it's not that he needs to be taken care of per se, but
You need to rub his back sometime.
if you're going to be in a marriage, why are you still wanting to operate as your single self? Like, what did you get married for? Because if you just want to go home and be by yourself, it's a little difficult to like use that as a bargaining tool for why we should be married to each other, especially when you're in something that has an expiration date like Married at First Sight. Like, we got 8 weeks to figure this out, and I can opt out of it. Granted, you can opt out earlier, but it's a lot easier to opt out of it um with Married at First Sight than in a traditional marriage. And you can go ahead.
All right. So start with the dinner table. I think Morgan is still operating single life. This is what my typical day looks like. When I get home, I'm tired. And not understanding that Ben is right there now, and you have Ben, and you have to have a husband. You have to, basically, this is the start of your family, and so Ben not speaking up, I still leads me to believe that he's afraid of her in some shape, form. And I think he needs to overcome that. Um, but I don't think she realized what it sounded like, because she just only described her life now. She doesn't know how her life is with a husband, because I'm assuming she's never been married. Um, Saying that she's always tired, she don't want to come home and take care of somebody else, is just the idea that she has about marriage. Now, that's another conversation that her and Ben needs to have, is what does marriage look like for them? Like, what is their example? How do they want their marriage to go, and what does it look like? What does Ben and Morgan's marriage look like? You know, um, I did appreciate people stepping up, saying stuff, and for him, because somebody had to. It looked bad, at the dinner table, but um them able to come back and like kind of like I guess be in agreement with each other about the previous conversations when he said that she lied because with that he jumped the gun on that, on calling her a liar and stuff like that, because he didn't ask for clarity. When they was at the beach and she was like, "Oh, you ruined that was between me and you, and I, you ruined our trust and everything like that." It's more so of him saying, "I didn't understand what you were saying, and I needed more clarity, and it just made me upset or whatnot." And he went to Justin to talk to Justin about the situation. That means you should have had a deeper conversation with your wife about what's going on. Because I don't think she lied, because her job probably is a nurse, as her job duties are nurse like. For anybody that don't know, it's like you can like if your job duties is of something, to me, it's okay to say, "Hey, you're this profession." We use the example of CNA in our review. And I was like, yeah, like if I was a CNA, I would say I'm a nurse to somebody that doesn't know.
And I would tell them, no, you're not.
I mean, you would know. You would know.
Nurse Jackie.
Nurse Jackie would know. But like to the unsuspecting person, would not know. And that's the easiest way to explain to what you do, because then everything else kind of convolutes everything. But I don't think that that's what it is. Personally,
I think she really is a nurse. I just don't think that she got her bachelor's in nursing.
Right. So it's like, it's different levels. And then that's like for being, it's like, explain that to him, or for being asked that. Like, well, how are you a nurse? Because that's a simple question. I don't think that's a disrespectful question or anything like that. If you haven't gotten your bachelor's degree, because for him, I think he says he's an engineer. For him, he has to have his bachelor's degree to become an engineer. For her, how did you become a nurse and you don't have it and you're missing a class? Ask that question. Allow her to answer that question before you say she's a liar. Because I mean, like, what's the thing about the tongue? Like, that's your most powerful sword. It's your tongue. You called this girl a liar. You called your wife a liar, which most people would get in trouble for calling a person a liar. Those are fighting words in some considerations. You know what I'm saying? So it's that part right there. So how they bounce back from that, it's I think they're gonna do fine, but they just have to understand that they have to talk to each other. And then the student loan thing, I think he just came into the situation not understanding the situation, because today, 2022, there's more people with student loans there than that went to college. Let's say people that went to college, right? There's more people with student loans than it is without. In some, it may be $1, it may be 10,000, 100,000, 200, 300,000, something. But student loans are there, So the idea that he's paid his student loans off, and she's not financially fit or financially free or anything like that because she got student loans and all this and all that. There's the opportunity for you to get to know your wife better. There's an opportunity for you to actually help a person if she needs it, because she could possibly just have the student loans and paying it off, So it's conversations that you need to have, and don't jump the gun on things and be like, "Oh, I don't like her because of this. Oh, I don't like her because of that." Those are things that you guys work on together. You can't force it down her throat, but you just, hey, this is what I like to do. I'm going to keep this here for myself. What do you like to do? And see how you can mesh that together. So
yeah, I definitely think that he went off the deep end, putting Justin into the conversation without having an additional conversation with her. I do want to know, why was she in tears though? Because I've never cried about being one class away from a degree. And I got 2 of them, and it took a little bit longer for the second one than it should have taken. But when you look at it from that standpoint, it's like, is there something that you're hiding? Are you feeling like you really are just this private person and you don't want to talk about it? Did you tell a false truth to the experts? Like, what is it that made you decide that what is it that brought you to tears in that situation? Because again, going back to the nurse thing, a nurse is a nurse is a nurse. And it doesn't really matter if you get an associate's program and a bridge to your bachelor's or what. But like, if you're a nurse, you're a nurse. And so him saying, I don't think she's a nurse doesn't make her any less of a nurse. So like, have this conversation and figure out what is y'all's issue. Like, why are you crying and why don't you believe her?
First rookie mistake being made was not having the full conversation with his wife and going to somebody else that is in the same boat as him for advice on the situation that he has not fully understood with his wife. Like, I can understand asking for advice on a situation where the person that you're upset with, like, how do I respond to this? You know, it's been plenty of times I call my homeboy because I'm mad at Artika because she's outwitted me on so many things. Like, it's like, yeah, I would put my money on her. You know, if it was who's quicker on their toes, she is. I have to, you know, figure out the whole conversation beforehand. And so, yeah, I go to other people. How did you handle this when this came up, or, you know, or something like that, just to bring it back. But it's a difference when you're not fully understanding what's going on, and then you're being accusatory of everything with your wife, and you just met this lady. So
No.
Hold on.
No.
I didn't wanna take
That's
off
my
mute.
segue.
She hot, boy.
That's
She
my
hot.
segue. That's my segue. That's my segue.
I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go because the nurse wants to speak, y'all.
Don't do that. Don't do that, because I'm gonna start with that first. I'm gonna start that first. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, let me explain. Let me teach you something. Let me learn you something.
You gonna run down your credentials?
No, I'm not. But I have been a registered nurse since 1999. I had my bachelor's of science in nursing before I got my license as a registered nurse. That's me, okay? Because I graduated from college in May. I took my NCLEX exam for my registered nurse licensure in July, and I passed in July. I'm also an instructor at the community college that offers an associate degree program for a nurse. So you can be a diploma nurse where you get it through a hospital associated program. You can be an associate's prepared nurse. You can be a bachelor's prepared nurse. You can also be a master's prepared nurse, which I have my master's in nursing as well. Okay. But I had, when I was in school, I was licensed as a CNA, which is certified nurse's assistant. And I also worked as a nurse extern before I finished school. Okay. So I had a student that actually went to church with me. She came through the ranks like that. She was a nurse's assistant. She went and got her associates from the community college that I teach at. She's got her bachelor's now, but she worked as a nurse before she got her bachelor's. She just finished with her master's, and she's going for her nurse practitioner. So I said that to say, somebody in the comments said, I've never met a CNA that called themselves a nurse. I literally have known somebody that was a CNA and they called themselves a nurse. You're not a nurse. You're a certified nurse assistant. I used to do that. So
I'm gonna also chime in real quick. As someone who used to supervise CNAs, I had a whole bunch of them tell me that they were nurses, and I'm like, no, baby, you're not.
And I even had, when my husband worked, remember it was a couple we went out with, and his wife was like, she says, I'm a nurse. I was like, okay, you know, me too. But there's even a difference between an LPN and a registered nurse, but that's a whole nother story. So I'm not going to discount the fact that she's a nurse. My issue is when you lie about silly stuff, like you didn't have to put, they say your highest level of education. You didn't have to put that. You could have put in there, I have one class before my bachelor's. Why lie? To me, that was silly to lie about. You didn't have to lie about it. And so I see y'all in the comments. Y'all said the same thing I said. So I understand being questioned or like you lied about something you didn't have, what you omitted. You didn't tell the whole truth. It was a white lie. I want to know what else you might little white lie about. Okay. Now I do think he made it bigger than it was. And he should have talked to her. But for her to take it off of her, because if you hadn't ever told the tale in the first place, if you hadn't lied, he wouldn't have had no issue and he wouldn't have had nothing to talk to Justin about. Okay. And my other thing with that is this is where me and my husband had a difference of opinion. Because she expected him to keep her secret and not tell anybody. And so my husband is like, that's your spouse. If your spouse tell you not to say anything, you don't say anything. They are not even a week in. You are a stranger to me. I'm not telling no stranger no secret and expecting them to keep it a secret. I don't trust you. That was my thing. I don't expect to. I'm not putting spousal privilege on that. I'm just not doing it. We're not that deep in. And at 20 years, 10 years, when me and my husband got married, because we was friends first, if I tell him to keep something, I'm expecting to keep it. Matter of fact, let me say this. Don't ever tell my husband not to tell anybody anything and then come later and say, I know Glenn told you. When you tell him don't tell nobody, he don't tell me.
I don't tell nobody, dog.
He don't even tell me.
I don't tell no. You tell me not to tell nobody, I tell nobody.
But it's been people that was like telling them stuff, you know, assuming, of course you're going to tell your wife. No. If you tell them don't tell nobody, I'm nobody too.
I was gonna say, I don't live by that. It's like if somebody tells me something, you better assume that she knows because we gonna talk about it. I mean, like don't tell me if you don't want her to know.
Or don't say don't tell nobody.
Right.
Because people can tell you things that you don't tell me. But if they tell you don't tell nobody, you're gonna be like, guess what I heard?
Right. We're gonna talk about it, but we ain't gonna tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? We not gonna tell nobody, but I'm gonna tell her.
See, that's how I operate too. When somebody tell me don't tell nobody, my spouse is excluded from that. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna tell my spouse. I won't tell nobody else, but I'm gonna tell him, ooh, you ain't gonna believe this. Guess what happened? Sometimes I slip up and be like, Glenn. But that was my problem with Morgan, that we had a disagreement about. I was like, you putting too much stock in this man to keep your secret. Because you don't know him. I don't even know if you're trustworthy yet. I'm trusting you to not. And she just, to me, then she made too big a deal of that. What she should have been more upset about was the student loan thing and how he basically was like, she's a debt monger. Oh my gosh, she got all this debt and I'm debt free. She got all this student loan stuff. I can't handle it. I would have been more upset about that than him telling Justin. And then again, here we go with the spousal privilege. Justin told Alexis, but they didn't tell the group. They didn't broadcast it. Only reason that Morgan even knows that Justin knows is because Ben told her. Yeah. So, it's she's a nurse. Okay. Just ain't got her bachelor's. And why lie? Just put on there. The box was big enough for her to put on one class away from my bachelor's.
She could put that she does have an associate's degree. If you watched After Party, okay. She did say she did have her associate's degree.
Yeah.
So
I have a quick question. So on like the lie was that who did she tell she had a bachelor? Because I'm missing something.
On her application, on the application for Married at First Sight, they asked, what's your highest level of education? And so in that space, she put, I have my bachelor's. And so she fessed up to him that I put that I have my bachelor's, but I'm not there just yet.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have it yet. So again, why lie? Why it's omission? It's, like You could have just put like I'm gonna say I'm a class away. They're not gonna turn you away for being a class away.
Well, I'm gonna still put because when I like my last semester getting my master's, I was like, I got my master's degree in accounting. So I was like, yeah, like because there's no way I'm not getting this master's degree at this point unless I died.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way. So at that point, I think it was what June. May so the semesters was like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that. So June to July, I had my master's. I didn't finish class until August, like 14th, and then graduate. Well, August 14th was my graduation. So yeah, 2 years ago. Woo!
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. But yeah, so like it's like that's what it was, for me. So for me, that's not a lie. That's not a big deal.
I never
Like-
filled out anything to.
Like I would have.
I'm saying like beforehand, before graduating, I never filled out anything where I had to say what my degree was.
Yeah, highest level of degree, master's, because it's on the way. Anyway,
Now, in my defense, right? I do tell her.
Sorry for going off too.
No, I do tell her some things, but there's something when somebody say, "Look, don't say nothing," because there's those things that some people don't want to get out, and I talk loud. So again, there's some things that some things again, and also you take, especially when it's marriage stuff for other people, it's like it's some deep stuff. So I'll be like, nope, hold on. Now there's some things. If it's funny, and somebody tell me I don't tell, I'm telling because
that's true.
That I want to laugh. If it's funny, we can tell. But back to Morgan and Ben a little bit is that, Ben was looking at her like, look, I want this family situation, right? This a family thing I want. You don't have a good relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have a good relationship with your family. And on top of this, I'm debt free. Now, not that he expects to pay for it, but I need to know your spending habits. It's much deeper than the student loan. I need to know where you're at financially because again, we're married. We got to be on the same page financially because I want to go. I'm going someplace, and I want you to be able to go with me. Now, also, I need to figure out the plan to pay yours off if you want me to. Now, of course, Morgan said she didn't want him to, and that didn't even come up. The conversation didn't come up. I'm independent. I can do my own thing. But Ben wanted to know the rules. Now, Ben, I agree with you that he should have talked to his wife a little bit deeper about this situation. I just know me. It wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me either way. Oh, right. I don't have my degree. All right, cool. Oh, you got away with it? Cool. Let's go. We married, right? That's why. That's why I didn't die. Who am I telling now? If I don't know why it bothered him so much. It's not like she said I lied. I got my degree, but I'm not working as a nurse at all. Right. I'm not lying. I got my degree and I ain't got no job. Right. It wasn't like Michael from DC. And I keep bringing Michael up, but Michael's the biggest liar I know. That was on Married at First Sight. I'm sorry. Right, he got a principal job on his vacation, then got another job while he was there, and then he got another job. Teach yoga, and then went to the yoga spot, and the lady said, I don't even know you. But anyway, so I don't know why it was such a big deal for him. And I think he was looking for a way out. When she told him about the family thing and the student loan, I like to know the order that the conversation went. Was it the student loan first? Or was it a family thing? And then on top of this, by the way, I don't have my Bachelor of Science degree. Or was it, by the way, I have my Bachelor of Science. I don't have my Bachelor of Science degree. I'm $200,000 in debt. Oh, I'm just making the number up. Or this way, I think the order makes a difference because Ben could be feeling some type of way. And to talk to Justin about it, that was his boy. That's his confidant. That's his person that he can confide in. Now, when you tell somebody something, like y'all said, when you tell somebody something, you expect. I know going into it, if I tell somebody something, they're going to tell somebody else, right? Nine times I just grew up that way. That when you tell somebody not to tell somebody, they're going to tell somebody. So if you don't want their best friend, if you don't want it to go nowhere, don't tell nobody, right? My mom always told me growing up, if you're going to do anything that's going to get you in trouble, you better off do it by yourself because somebody will tell on you, all right? So she should have known, but I do like the fact that Alexis kept it to herself, right? For the most part, that showed Justin that there's trust. Now, when we get to the table, Morgan is so selfish. She don't want a husband. She want a roommate. She want a companion. Oh yeah, I didn't even touch on that. She wants somebody that can meet her needs, and she's not willing to meet his needs because what she says, I take care of people all day, and when I get home, I want somebody to take care of me. Well, guess what? Your husband serves somebody all day. He take care of people all day. So how about y'all meet each other's need and meet each other halfway? Don't be so self-centered on you that you can't meet his need. Now, mind you, this is the same person from her vignettes that come home and play video games. So if you're coming home playing video games, that means now you're married. You're taking away from your spouse the time that y'all can spend quality time together, the time that y'all can get together and you can learn about finances. He can teach you about cryptocurrency because she said that I don't know anything about crypto. I don't know anything about saving. I don't know anything about none of this stuff. So now she can go out there and do all that as well. So has the opportunity. So this is the time that y'all can spend together. Find out what works for you and find out what works for your marriage and help you guys get together and build a relationship. Just don't be self-centered. And I think she was very self-centered. Truth be told, I don't think this marriage is going to work out. I don't think she's going to get past this whole trust issue. I really don't think she's going to get past the trust issue. Dee, Ben is a engineer. Ben is an engineer, so he has he makes some money and he does well at home. Seems like he's very smart and intelligent. And so again, he'll have time to do some things at home, but I don't think they're gonna be together long. I don't think she's gonna get over it.
Yeah, I don't think she will, but I just didn't like that she made it more about, oh, you told my secret, and like this man got concerns too. He got concerns.
But I still think he was wrong for telling Justin because he didn't talk to her. And I think he just really used Justin as a sounding board. I'm not gonna say he's completely wrong, but I think she was wrong for really like going in like she did. I asked you not to tell anybody.
Yeah, I agree with Glenn on his mistake was where he told Justin but didn't go for clarity with his wife. And yeah. So
I think that's the biggest thing. But like I said, them two right there, they're bumping heads. And you know what's crazy is she was willing to give him some, right? She's like, he's sexy, he's hot, she's all into him. And we talk about Mitch making one mistake to stop him from getting the draws. I think Ben messed up. Ben can't get the draws now. If it was all right, because she was really like, yo, he can get it.
She's still gonna give him the draws, man. Like he didn't do enough not to, like they were civil enough at the table. Her saying all these things when they talk about what she said, because Morgan is not perfect as well. He apologized for losing her trust. Yeah, she's still gonna get the draws up, man.
I said, and is.
Let's hope so.
Is.
Hey, closing thoughts. Anything you guys want to touch on before we get out of here? The chat's been jumping. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the comments in the chat. August love story. Anything you guys want to go before? Anything you want to touch on from this episode?
I have nothing. This episode for me, this episode was long. Like the most interesting part was when they were at the table, and Morgan and Ben like interaction was more interesting to me than anybody else's because of the conflict that was there. Even though it wasn't, to me, it wasn't a real like big thing to get over, too mad about. But I mean, to each his own on what they choose to get mad about. But overall, I think Morgan and Ben will get past this. I think their big overarching thing is the family aspect of things and really understanding what does she mean when it comes to kids, because he wants children and she is not sold on children just yet.
I'm wondering, does he really want kids, or does he want kids because his mama wants grandkids?
It's probably because his mama wants grandkids. And that's another thing too. It's like, what happens once his mama gets involved into the relationship, because her playing such a major role in his life. That's gonna be a power struggle between him leaving his mama to be with his wife. So I'm more interested to see how their transition from their honeymoon to real life actually happens, So you have anything else you want to say?
I am ready to see them leave Mexico and get back home because I want to see the dynamics of Ben's mom being a part of their relationship because the way he talks, she's going to insert herself. I'm ready to see how Megan inserts herself into Nate and Stasia's relationship. And I'm just interested also to see how things go with Justin and Alexis, as far as him basically giving in to whatever she says, and Lindy and Miguel's siblings, because that's gonna be the issue when they get home. In my opinion, just because his sister oversteps and her brother oversteps. So it's gonna be interesting to see these sibling dynamics. I'm really interested to see everybody get back home because nothing should happen when you're on your honeymoon, and that's what we're ending. But we see that was not the truth in these couples' cases. So I'm just ready to see how things explode a little bit more once we get on the other side.
Oh yeah, and share, subscribe to both our channels, to Lisa's channel, Chloe Johnson's channel, everybody's channel. And yeah.
You lost your train of thought.
Yeah, I did. We recorded our review, but it got interrupted a lot. So
yeah, our 2-year-old just at one point stood in front of the camera and just started blowing kisses.
Yeah.
So and needless to say, this review is probably not going to come out, or if it does, it'll get chopped up very severely, and you guys will miss some things.
Yeah. So.
Aww. She blowing kisses. She love the fans.
She love the fans.
She love the fans. Can I want to say that that's what I'm looking forward to now. I'm looking forward to them getting back to real life and seeing how that's going to go, because like y'all said, things can be very different when you're in paradise, when you're on the honeymoon, when you're on vacation. But when real life hits, what's it going to be? Mm-hmm. How's it going to go down? And the other thing I want to comment is, I guess somebody says, so Morgan says she's got $100,000 in student loan debt. Is that Morgan? That is a lot.
To be a nurse.
That's a lot. Good God.
But it won't take you if they play it right.
For her bachelor's too, that's a lot.
It depends on school you go to. I mean, come on, you can get a nurse's degree, you don't have to go to a major university.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get the nursing degree done. So but with the 100,000 real quick, nurses make a lot of money. There's a high demand for nurses. Nurses can make a lot of money. So if she want to pay it off and they stick to a plan with Ben, because he likes to play debt off, right? If Ben is intense about paying debt, the 100K can go away within about a year or two if both of them do it together. And so I'm not even concerned about the 100K debt because as a nurse, she can work as much as she want to work and knock that bad boy out within a year. I mean, think about it. If her and Ben have that conversation, he say, you know what, I'm going to take care of you. Her whole salary could go to that 100K, and she could probably knock it out in a year if they work and they smart.
And if she wants to.
So
we do know some people was like, I'm in debt while I'm alive. I'm gonna die with debt. Some people don't feel the need to pay it off. So
I'm sorry.
Hopefully she wants to pay it off.
Dee Dee mentioned something about student loan debt. I think she mentioned about being student loans. Hey, I paid my student loans off. I'm just be honest. I don't like to be debt. Don't like to owe anybody anything whatsoever. I don't like to owe anybody nothing.
I just love how he said I paid.
Oh, we did.
Wait, hold on. No, sir.
It's a we thing. It's a we thing. No, it's a we. Hold up.
No, but you said your student loan debt.
We paid my student. We paid our student loan debt. So I'm gonna say we. Sorry, it wasn't me.
That's a side note. And that's a testimony. And we paid that off during the pandemic.
Yeah. So
like we hit it hard. No interest. Yeah.
So if you ain't paying your student loans off while there's no interest, hey, check out Jack and Glen show. We might join the membership. We tell you how we did it. Join the membership and we tell you how to do it. I gotta put that out there. Join the membership and we'll tell you how we pay student loans during the pandemic. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Anything else for the couples?
Nope.
Everybody's good. Hey, catch you guys down the road. Appreciate you. As always, subscribe to everything else. Go to TalisaRay.com and get her journal. Saw people reading it the other night in my house. And so it's a good journal. Please support. And we see you guys next week. Thanks for being in the comment section. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. And thank you so much. And join our membership. Not only ours, but August Love Stories membership as well. And get some special perks for joining the membership. Thank you. And good night.
Bye.
Bye.